Welcome back to the SBD Odds Pod, brought to you by SportsBettingDime.com, your best source for the latest odds, sportsbook reviews, betting 101s, and the home of the Futures Trackers. I am Matt McEwan, editor-in-chief of SBD, joined by Frank Michael Smith, the best storyteller there is on the internet. Frank, what's up, buddy?
Matt, thank you for the intro. Yeah, this is wow. I wasn't expecting that. It's good to be here, though. Hey. Yeah, I'm fresh off a nice 1-1 weekend, and it's probably good that we have a weekend to actually think about things now.
Episode 6 coming in hot. We got to really amp ourselves up here, right? We're in the big leagues.
No, let's get it going.
So 1-1, Frank, last week. I went 2-1 because I did lay the over bet. Actually, I went 2-2 because we both had the under in that Bucks Packers game, which was a little bit of a heartbreaker. I thought we were looking pretty good there for a bit. But, yeah, we lose the under there. I hit the over, at least, in the other game. And, yeah, we split our ATS, both on the favorites, Green Bay, Buffalo. Let's talk about that NFC Championship game first, Frank. I've got a couple of things I want to talk about, but, lead us off here. What do you got?
Well, I want to talk about your under comment, and we expected this game to be really cold, snowy, Lambeau conditions, and it actually looked like that. Leading up to the game, they're talking about the snow, they're talking about field conditions, is that thing that heats the field from underground going to be working properly, and then the game starts, and it's nothing but sunshine, and, it looks like a perfect condition to play football, just a little bit cold, so, that hurt our under.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing I want to talk about here, Frank, this game was so fascinating to me. From start to finish, it just seemed like every player or group of people were doing their best to be the ones discussed after this game, and not in a good way. They were doing everything they could to be the reason, the person being pointed to for the loss. And just for starters, you got Kevin King in the first half. What happens there? Obviously you can question the call on that final play of the first half there, but he gets beat twice. The first one he jumps. That was one of the horribly mistimed jumps I think we've seen. Again, unfortunately, another one bringing me back to awful Broncos memories of Raheem Moore on that Joe Flacco Hail Mary that tied the game against the Ravens in the playoffs.
It did seem like that. That's a good comparison.
It seems like everything lately is just bringing up these horrible Broncos memories for me. But so we have Kevin King getting beat all over the field, right? And if that's the way this game ends, that's all we're talking about, right? Is Kevin King, who I believe is a free agent this offseason, there's no way the Packers are bringing him back. But then all of a sudden, we open up the second half and Aaron Jones fumbles again. He fumbled once in the first half. Tunyon jumped on it. He fumbles again. Bucks recover. Easy score. But we also have, kind of refs being sprinkled in here as well. There's a lot of grabbing, a lot of holding on those Packers receivers did not get called. So then, we continue into the second half and what happens? Tom Brady throws 3 interceptions, right? If this game had have ended, if Green Bay pulls off this comeback and Tom Brady, we would have spent the entire summer, spring, summer, fall, talking about, is Tom Brady done? 3 interceptions, lost the game for the Bucks. Is he done, basically, right? And
well, we did it last summer.
And it seems like we've been doing it every summer for the last 5 years or so now, right? But, this one would have been pretty warranted, right? We're talking about a pretty old quarterback, blows the game like that. So, we have Tom Brady there. Then we have Aaron Rodgers. Does not run on that 3rd and goal. 3rd and 8, has a lot of space. And hey,
I thought for sure he was running that.
I started standing up out of my seat as someone with Packers, and I'm thinking, hey, Frank, maybe we can get lucky here. Maybe they'll tie the game, send it to overtime. We can get a first possession touchdown here, end the game. We cover our spread. Didn't happen, right? Aaron Rodgers doesn't run. If the game just ended there on that, we would have been talking about that. It would have been Aaron Rodgers. Is he done? Why didn't he run? Has he lost all mobility? Then we get the look, because realistically they should have gone for it on 4th and goal, right? That's what should have happened. They should have gone for it on 4th and goal from the 8. They don't make it, game over. That's what we talk about. But LaFleur decides to kick the field goal. So let's just say the game ends there, right? And all we're talking about is the LaFleur field.
Let's pause for a second.
Yeah.
Let's pause for a second, though. The game wouldn't have been over even if they didn't get it. They still are backed up on their goal line, and they've. Yeah,
you're right, absolutely. But it's assuming that's how the game kind of ends, right? Assuming that's assuming they don't get it 4th and goal, the Bucs take over, pick up a couple first downs, game over, right? That's what we're talking about. Is that Aaron Rodgers one? But no, Matt LaFleur decides let's kick the field goal, and that would have been the only thing. Like analytics football was just going nuts over this, right? What are you thinking? Why? There was like 2:09 on the clock when he decided I'm kicking this field goal. And I think he had, what do you have, 2-3 timeouts left? He might have had all 3, maybe only 2. I can't remember. We'll have to look into that. But sure, he's using the 2-minute warning. I somewhat understand, where he's coming from, but it's just the wrong play. That's not the way it should have happened. So that would have been the story. But then, and here's where it gets, this is the crazy one to me, Frank. Did you see the kickoff? Jaden Mickens just basically goes down.
He his rock's in his head. I don't know what he's doing.
Because there's 2:05 on the clock or so at when they kick that ball.
It was a terrible mistake.
All he needs to do is just
pretty much whole possession.
Absolutely, he awarded Green Bay another timeout by just going down. All he needed to do is just run around for a few seconds, waste that 2-minute warning, right? So that would have been the bonehead play of the year. If the Green Bay comes back, what happens? No. We get that ref's call, and Frank, I think we can agree it was pass interference, right? Like he pulled on the jersey. I don't think anyone's really arguing that it was pass interference. But
technically, if you're going by the book, but did he really impede the route that much? No, I don't think he grabbed him really aggressively, and they really hadn't been calling the game that way.
They hadn't, absolutely, and that's the story here, right? Is it was inconsistent. We had inconsistent calling here. And so now, now we're stuck with... That
flag was late, too.
Oh,
that flag was really late.
Very late. So that's it. Now we're stuck with all of these different storylines. What did I just rhyme off? 8 different storylines that we now have to consider with this game. It's crazy. This game was nuts to me.
And I want to piece those all together for you, Matt. What it really comes down to, and this is what the game of football really comes down to, and this is a bit of a microcosm, is... the team that wins is the team that makes plays, critical plays, big plays, the splash plays. And that's what Tampa did. Did Tom Brady play very well? No. He did what he had to do to get the W, and he made the big plays when they counted. Namely, that Godwin catch, right after Godwin dropped one in the first half, he comes back, tips one up, gets that. I was, as sitting there being a Packers bettor, devastated when he caught that, because I could just feel the momentum shifting.
Yeah, that one hurt.
And then he comes right back. And was it busted coverage on Scotty Miller? Absolutely. But was the throw on the money? Absolutely.
Sure was.
That was a great ball. And as soon as that happens, it's pretty much over from that point. You can't go down double digits to Brady at half and expect to win. So, I didn't even talk about their defense. They stepped up in the red zone several times.
Yeah.
They both sides of the ball. The Bucs made the plays when they counted, and they won the game because of it.
Absolutely. Frank, you wanted to talk a little Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I do. So after the game, Rodgers immediately switches the topic to his future, which I don't know his exact contract details, but I do know he's under contract. He signed one, fairly recently, which is why the Jordan Love pick made even less sense. But he seems to still really not be at ease with the Packers organization, and he's talking about how his future is a beautiful mystery and, what might happen here. This is, of course, on the heels of Deshaun Watson demanding to, switch teams, Matt Stafford agreeing with the Lions that he'll switch teams. Aaron Rodgers seems like he wants to be next. I don't know if he will be next, but if you're the Packers, it's like, what is so mysterious about it? This dude is the MVP. He played a pretty good game. Did he play great? No, but he played pretty good. He's not the reason they lost. Bring him back. I don't understand the mystery here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt in the Packers, front office of is Aaron Rodgers returning. If this is solely up to them, Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback next year. No doubt, right? We can agree. Like you said, league MVP. If you check out the sportsbettingdime.com futures tracker there, the NFL MVP odds, he's the odds-on favorite. He's going to win league MVP. This week, one interview that I recommend everyone goes check out. Aaron Rodgers this past summer did an interview with Kyle Brandt of NFL Network, and basically just discussed kind of, and he did it in a very professional manner, but he discussed kind of the emotions he was feeling when the Packers drafted Jordan Love. And you can tell, like, this hurt. They went to the NFC Championship last year, got blown out by the 49ers, right? Ultimately because they weren't good enough in the trenches. They couldn't handle San Francisco's pass rush. Couldn't get them blocked up, to run the ball either. And their own defensive line just got bullied all game. San Francisco ran all over them, right? And you're thinking, what's the answer here for Green Bay? It's either let's really beef up in the trenches, or Aaron Rodgers, obviously a little bit of bias here, hoping he wanted to get his hands on one of the wide receivers coming out, right? He specifically noted Justin Jefferson.
Of course. You could probably justify any position other than quarterback.
Well, that's it, right?
Punter.
And so, I think he just felt betrayed from, this. He felt this is a team on the cusp of a championship. And I mean, it's crazy to me that Aaron Rodgers only won one Super Bowl, right? I mean, we're talking about potentially the most gifted quarterback we've seen potentially ever. Mahomes is obviously making a really strong case for that as well. But, in terms of just raw arm talent, Rodgers is certainly in the conversation for greatest of all time. So it's crazy that he's only won one. And I think he really felt this was the team, this was the year they can go back, they can win a second. And then, they take Jordan Love with the first round pick. Then they take A.J. Dillon with the second round pick too. When, you've got Aaron Jones, you've got Jamal Williams, like they have a pretty healthy backfield there, right? And I know obviously Aaron Jones did what he did in that NFC Championship game, but you really felt like Rodgers was betrayed here, and I don't think they've made up.
They certainly haven't, and The only mystery on the side of this is the side of Rodgers. If he wants it to be mysterious, then that's the only way that something's going to happen here, because I don't think, although Green Bay is not as smart as maybe they're made out to be as one of the more well-run franchises, you're right, those two picks make absolutely no sense. And, Aaron knows that. Yeah. But he's going to have to get nasty. He's going to have to really force his way out if that's going to happen, because there's no way ever that a quarterback that's still playing as well as he is, and he demonstrated just how good he still is, especially with that throw from the end zone on 3rd and 17. I mean, when that happened, I was like, okay, I did bet on Aaron Rodgers. This is not over. Thank you. I'm feeling good still. There's no way that they part ways with him. It's going to have to be him getting nasty.
I don't believe there has ever been a league MVP to switch teams the next season after winning the award. You're right. If he ultimately has to go in, show his cards and say, I'm out. Either trade me or I retire.
You know what? And this is the NBA slowly seeping in the NFL. I mean, that's essentially what Anthony Davis did in New Orleans. He's like, hey, I gave it my best here. I was here for 5-6 years, whatever, and I'm done. And you can trade me. And you know what? They ultimately did. And would it shock me if that would happen? No. It seems like the NFL's trending that way, especially after you see what Deshaun Watson did. Yeah,
Deshaun Watson, Matthew Stafford. Players are certainly starting to, appreciate the power they hold. And yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great comparison to the NBA. It's starting to become, players are dictating where they play a little bit more. And hey, if he does, Frank, I mean, I would have to think, San Francisco would be pretty high up on his list of preferred destinations. Go back to Cal. They're a great team, and they aren't really set with Jimmy G. I think that, to me, that makes the most sense for Rodgers, but there's a few places too. I mean, if you told me Rodgers is going to play up in Indianapolis, I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm obviously not going to say no to Denver.
Yeah, right? That would be nice for you.
Yeah.
If you do want to bet on this, Matt, you mentioned the odds.
Yeah, there's been a couple sports books that have opened some odds. They're this is a little bit of a sucker prop, but for the prop is will Aaron Rodgers start week 1 for the Packers? Yes is -500. There's no value there. Do not bet anything that's minus 500. It's a nice to look at. Keep that as a little bit of information in your back pocket. There's no value there, but he's, the sports books right now are very confident in him returning to Green Bay, and I think most of the NFL world is too, right?
I would think so. All right, let's move on.
AFC. I mean, I just got like a couple quick things on the AFC Championship here, Frank. Kansas City looked dominant. This was what we thought they were. And all credit to the Bills. They played a good game. Josh Allen looked a little bit. This was the first time I think this season he looked a little bit shook. He tried to squeeze in a couple balls late in the game that he didn't really have to. On that interception being one of them. Kind of struggled pulling the trigger early in the game. Was holding on to the ball a little bit too long, but a lot of credit to the Chiefs defense. Chris Jones is a monster. Tyrann Mathieu seems to show up in the biggest moments, and he's done that again. And I mean, Mahomes, that offense, to me, they're unstoppable. I think they're on a different tier to me.
Yeah, so they go down 9-0 in the game?
Yeah.
They go down 9-0, and Buffalo does have all the momentum, of course. And I have my bet on the Chiefs, and I'm still feeling good about it, but I am, browsing the live lines, and I want to take a look at it, and there's still no value. There's no value, and I think it's the hangover from last year where Vegas learned they can be down 24-0, and we're not gonna. They're still gonna be favorites, and it was certainly that they were still favored by 2.5.
They're too dangerous.
I'm sorry, 1.5.
They can score too quickly, right?
There
was, that absolutely.
And then in the blink of an eye, it was 14-9, and I think everyone watching that game knew it was over at that point.
Absolutely. The moment that the Chiefs took the lead like that early, like once, to like climb out of that hole as quickly as they did, you knew it was over by halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel great about the Chiefs. I was happy to go 1-1, and I felt like I hopped back on the Chiefs bandwagon just at the right time. Yeah,
absolutely. You did. I mean, they hadn't been great covering spreads, but like we talked about last week, I mean, they haven't faced a lot of small spreads either, right? This is a team that's been heavy favorites all year. So they finally get a small one. They took care of it easy. They got another small one here coming up. Super Bowl 55, Frank. Big game here. The Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, next week on the SBD Odds Pod, we will break the game down a little further. For now, the one thing Frank and I just want to talk about quick is the spread in this game. And why? Because it's a significant number. So in spread betting in football, you have a couple key numbers. You have 3, 7, and 10. Okay, and why are these significant numbers? Because these are the most common margins of victory in NFL games. So just to read you off a stat here real quick, Frank, from 2003 to 2020, 15% of the games played. So I'm not talking about, all the games that had a spread of this or this, between whatever range. I'm talking every NFL game that was played from 2003 to 2020. 15% of them ended with a 3-point margin. The next best, the next most frequent margin was 7. So now that came about 9% of the time, and then you've got 6 about 6% of the time. So 3 is that very significant number, and we want to talk about this because the spread here, as I said, Kansas City -3 right now, but it opened up 3.5, 3, depending where you looked. And I'm sure, this...
It could very well go back.
Absolutely. There's still, what do we got, 9 days by the time this goes up. We'll have 9 days until the Super Bowl. So lots of time. There's still lots of money to come in. It very well could still move. So if you can find, if you're a Bucks better, and you can find 3.5, that's your number to pounce on, right? I wouldn't wait any longer. If you like the Bucks, take them at 3.5. Now, if you're a Chiefs better, 3, right? This is your push. I understand that some people don't love betting the flat lines. They like having that hook, but 3, I would take it at 3. It's for this to drop to 2.5, rule out the push. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth the wait because, as Frank said, this could go either way. So if you got this at 3,
especially. Yeah, no, I think it'll actually stay at 3. It just feels right.
Yeah.
Especially seeing as Tampa's at sort of home. I don't know what they're doing with the fans. I guess it's just going to be the first responders and everything. Yeah. I don't think they'll really have a great home field advantage, although the traveling will be easier for them. But, seeing how Mahomes played with the turf toe and coming back from the concussion, I mean, people, for those of you who don't know what turf toe is, it's a significant injury. The fact that he looked that good, it's awful. It is extremely painful.
You got a turf toe injury to share here, Frank?
No, I've never had it. I've known my friends to have it. But I know it's significant. It's very hard to play football with turf toe. It's hard to do anything with turf toe, really, where you're walking around. But
absolutely.
He looked fine. He looked completely fine and
too good.
Clearly, yeah, he had cleared concussion protocol. Seeing as how he looked in that game, I don't see this going to 2.5.
No, me neither. I don't think.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I don't think it's coming down much. So I think if you're a Chiefs bettor, just know 3 is significant here. And that's something I would be looking at right now. And just real quick, Frank. So I look back at every Super Bowl that's been played, and again, you can see the historical Super Bowl spreads, totals, results, and everything at sportsbettingdime.com. We've got a great page on that. So I looked through that, and there are 2 Super Bowls that had a spread of 3.5. We're talking Super Bowl 19 and Super Bowl 13. So you got to go a ways back. Both of those games.
Give me Super Bowl 19 here. Who do we have in Super Bowl 19?
Super Bowl 19 was the 49ers and Dolphins. Super Bowl 13 was the most popular, the most common Super Bowl matchup, the Steelers Cowboys, right? So in both those games, the favorites covered. The team laying 3.5, both of them covered. We've had 8 Super Bowls, Frank, where the spread was 3. I won't rhyme all of them off, but most recently Super Bowl 51. In those games, the favorite is 4-4 against the spread, and they're 4-4 straight up as well. But in the last 3, the favorite is 3-0 straight up and against the spread. So the favorites have been winning these 3-point spreads recently. You look back, it's more so the underdog's been coming through. But that's kind of my point here. The Chiefs haven't, as we said last week, Chiefs haven't faced many small spreads. This isn't one that I worry about. If you see 3, I'm pouncing on it at 3. Again, I know we're going to break the game down a little more and make some picks next week, but just monitor this line and don't be afraid to act quickly if you see the line you like, and that being if you're a Bucks bettor, if you see 3.5 again, I think you got to take it.
I agree. Yeah, I am not going to make my pick yet. I am leaning towards the Chiefs. As I said before in the pod, I like to reward teams that are good to me, and it seems like a low number for them. So I am leaning that way, although I'm going to wait to actually make my pick.
Absolutely. I'm with you, Frank. Now, Frank, I want to talk couple Super Bowl props. Again, we'll kind of break down the more serious ones next week, but this week I want to talk 3 of them. One, sorry, the dogs are barking here. They're fighting each other. I think they know it's dinner time or something over here. 3 props. 1, the Gatorade bath. 2, the anthem. And 3, I want to quickly touch on touchdown props. Frank, let's start with Gatorade. I know this was something, I think you had something for me on the Gatorade prop.
Yeah, so the Gatorade one, I don't know if you were included on this thread last year, but there was a gigantic chain of texts, almost like the way that when we first had coronavirus coming out and you were getting texts from your buddy whose aunt happens to work at the, I mean, you're in Canada, I'm in America, but, at the Capitol building, and you're just like, how do we actually have these many people? These are fake. People are making these things up. So last year there was a Gatorade prop, and I think it had to be, it was orange because it was the Chiefs. But,
yes, it was orange
red,
last
one of the
year.
2. Or it was, whatever color that these threads, people were texting me. I had my buddy, he's screenshotting text. Hey, I know someone who works for the Chiefs, and if they win, it's going to be blue. And, there was a lot of this going around. And we bid on it, and we bet it was going to be blue. Sure enough, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes win the game. It's orange. We were like, of course it's orange. And, it's almost the same color as their logo. So... I just want everyone to not fall for that this year. Don't believe that.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Frank. These lines, and they move too with these news leaks, right? Like this isn't just happening with you and your buddies.
Oh yeah.
This like there are somewhat credible sources that catch wind of some rumor. Hey, Tyreek Hill's favorite color is purple. And boom, all of a sudden, all the money's out on purple. Real quick, purple becomes the favorite. So this is just know what you're getting yourself into here. This is a lottery ticket. I mean, unless you have that real inside info as to what is in that cooler, what's in every single cooler on those sidelines, then you
Matt, I'm happy you brought that up. Because inside info is what I want to talk about with the anthem as well.
Yes.
Now, this has been a theory of mine for a long time. I've never shared it publicly, but it's not some genius thing I thought of, but it just makes sense. That what if you're someone who's doing the anthem this year?
So this year it's Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan.
Okay,
it's a duet.
Eric Church.
Only the third time we've seen a duet, for the record, Frank.
Wow, this is going to be special. So let's say Eric Church has, his buddies from back home. I think he's from the South. And the over under is something like 1:30 usually.
Two minutes it opened at, right? Frank. 2 minutes.
I feel like that's a slower number. So, 2 minutes. You can get the anthem done under 2 minutes. Like, let's be real here. So, why wouldn't Eric Church, if he's a good friend, tell all his buddies, hey, I think I'm gonna rush through this one. Maybe. I'm not saying cheat. But if you were that person, how wouldn't this be the easiest bet to fix of all time? All you got to do is sing a little bit quicker, and you can get all your buddies, all your friends to bet on it. What an easy way to make some money. If this is not happening, I'd be shocked.
So what, I cannot confirm nor deny whether this is happening, Frank, but I can say everyone who's involved in the Super Bowl, whether it be the audio, the mic test guy for the national anthem, they have all signed so many agreements, NDAs to, they cannot say a word to anybody. Now, I mean, you have a great point here, Frank. What's stopping Eric Church from telling his cousin's second cousin, who tells his partner, who tells their dad, hey,
I did a couple practice runs, so I'm coming in at 150.
The fix is in. Right now, sportsbooks are too smart here. Generally, if you go in and you put a significant bet down on any one of these props, you are getting heavily investigated. I'm not talking a quick phone call. I'm talking they will find the link and they will cancel your bet. So,
oh, man.
Hey, all that to say, if you have some inside info, don't get greedy.
So I guess I'm speaking to all of Eric Church's friends now.
Yeah.
He'd match advice and create a network where you spread your bets out at all the different books. And you can buy and you can see and you can shop all of the lines at sportsbettingdime.com.
There you go. And don't get greedy with your bets. Don't take the sportsbooks for everything they got. Keep it low. That's funny. So just a couple notes there too, Frank. So just Gatorade Bath Anthem. One, the Gatorade Bath has come up of the last 11 Super Bowls, 5 have been orange. That's a pretty significant number.
Wow.
Orange has opened up as the favorite.
Orange, I feel like orange isn't such a great Gatorade flavor either. Of all the Gatorade, I mean, orange, first of all, it's not a flavor, it's a color.
Yeah.
But it's...
There's better.
I only like orange if it's like slush texture. I feel like most people like blue the best.
Is that standard? That's standard, right?
Yeah, blue is standard.
Blue is the best Gatorade. Now,
yeah,
I mean, hey, maybe it's because they don't want to waste the blue Gatorade, right? They drink it all up on the sideline.
I think Glacier Freeze might be the white one, actually. But yeah, blue is the, like, I think we need to go to Gatorade's, like, LinkedIn and check out their sales. But blue has to be the, like, most sold.
I'm with you. I think it has to be as well. It's, like, the only one I ever really buy. But yeah, 5 of the last 11, orange. Orange has opened up as the favorite again this year. It's like plus 130 right now. Again, if you're betting this, take a flyer. A couple things to note, because I know a lot of people, why did orange open up as favorite? One, it's popped up a lot recently, but two, as Frank said, it was orange last year as well. So you've got the Chiefs back again. Chiefs favored. Are they going to dump orange again? Now, Frank, since the Gatorade Bath started, there have been 3 back-to-back Super Bowl champions in that time. You've
Oh my
got
God, Matt, you went deep with this. Are
Frank,
you kidding me?
I got it for you, buddy. I got it. We've got the Dallas Cowboys, who repeated in Super Bowls 27-28. Broncos, 32-33, and then you got the Pats. Only one of those three had the same color back-to-back years. That was the Cowboys in 27 and 28. And it was clear back then. Like I think it was just water. I don't even think it was Gatorade back then. I'm not sure. We'll have to look into when Gatorade became a thing.
Clear usually is an option for when you bet this, by the way.
It is, absolutely. Clear is an option. The other two back-to-back champions, the Broncos did not do a dump either year, and New England did not have one their first year. And again, if you want to dive deeper into this, I mean, I looked into it. There are 20 new players on the Chiefs team versus last year. So we're not talking about, all the same players, but the core is still there. I think, Frank, if you're really, trying to get sharp on this one, I think you got to go figure out what Dustin Colquitt's favorite color Gatorade was, because he's no longer on the team. And if there was one player on the Chiefs last year who had a lot of time to sit around on the sidelines drinking their favorite color Gatorade, it was the punter. This is not a team who punts the football. So what is Colquitt's favorite color? Because was he the orange guy? Was he the one who demanded that orange Gatorade be on the sideline? I don't know. These are things you got to look into.
I think the bigger question here is, I wonder what teams do. Like I don't think we ever got a choice in my illustrious high school sports career. But
you brought your own Gatorade.
I bet these NFL teams. Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't get a choice. You're like, you're drinking this. So, I guess these teams, like, they do have team captains. Like, maybe this is something that team captains get to choose. Like, maybe are they taking a team vote? Because I'm inclined to believe it's going to be orange again. Assuming the Chiefs win, and they still have all of their big guys from last year. Like, those are the guys that really hold weight.
You think?
Right?
You think Mahomes is calling the Gatorade
Kelsey,
shots, right?
Andy Reid, he probably just drinks like a Diet Pepsi or something. Like, I doubt he's drinking Gatorade, but yeah, like you'd have to think like the Gatorade Council is still intact.
The hierarchy's still there. I'm with you. The one quick note on the anthem here, Frank, because I know you quickly went through your thoughts there. So again, Eric Church, Jasmine Sullivan. The line opened at 2 minutes. Now, I know you said you can get through an anthem quick. The slowest time ever recorded in a Super Bowl national anthem. Go ahead. What'd you guess?
I'm going to say it's like 2:40.
Slowest. Sorry. Did I say slowest? I meant fastest. What's the fastest? Apologies, Frank.
Oh, the
My
fastest
bad.
you could do the anthem?
Fastest.
Do you know the slowest?
I believe it's Alicia Keys, and I believe it's like 2 minutes and 20 some odd seconds. Like, she was very slow through it.
Yeah, she's great.
She is fantastic. The fastest
one,
Frank.
I'm gonna say you can get through the anthem in like I'm gonna say like 1:15.
You're very close. It was Jewel. She did it in 1:26. So there is some variance here to play with. Now we have some data on Sullivan. Sullivan performed the national anthem at the 2004 NHL All-Star Game. Came in just under 2 minutes. So, couple trends for you to look at there. This is serious sports betting, just for the record.
I'm leaning towards the under. 2 minutes just seems like
that's
oh
long.
My god! Like I've sat through a lot of anthems before. It doesn't seem like a 2 minute long song.
It's been going over 2 minutes recently. But yeah, you know what? Like, I'm with you. I don't think Eric. And hopefully not a ton of Eric Church fans watch this show and are going to come at me for this, but I don't think Eric Church is someone who's going to really hold that final note for like 15 seconds. You know what I mean? And with it being a duet,
it's also about like the duet is a weird factor.
It is. It's very weird to consider.
Think, it's also about like how much of a hot dog you are. Like, if you're someone that comes out like. It's kind of Alicia Keys' style to be slow, but
for sure.
If you want the attention on you for a little bit longer, you sing it a little bit longer. The people pay a lot of money for time at the Super Bowl. Like, what's a 30-second ad? They're basically getting 4 of these.
Absolutely. Millions of promo. Are you suggesting we're about to see an Eric Church versus Jasmine Sullivan showdown of who can take the longest in each verse?
Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting.
I'd love to see it. Moving on to some actual football. We'll finish off with this here. Frank, I wanted to just quickly talk because touchdown props have opened. You know me, Frank. I never really bet first time, and I especially will not bet the first time when it comes to the Super Bowl because you know a fat guy is scoring a touchdown in this game, right? So it really, like, there's both coaches very creative. They're going to put together some crazy things. I will not touch first time touchdown, and I certainly will not do it in the Super Bowl. But just for the record, Kelsey is the favorite right now, plus 600 to score the first touchdown of the game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. He's been a touchdown machine lately. I've been riding him for a handful of weeks now, just cleaning up. But I want to talk anytime because, again, we're going to have 9-ish days or so until Super Bowl. Should you bet now? Should you wait? Frank, one person, I'm going to give you one person to bet now, one person to wait on. The player that I am betting right now is Clyde Edwards-Helaire at plus 220 to score any touchdown. Why, Frank? Because I think he's going to be healthy. We haven't seen a healthy Clyde Edwards-Helaire in quite some time. He did not play in the divisional round. He only played 49% of the offensive snaps last week in the AFC Championship. This was a guy who was looking at like 60+% of the snaps, upwards like 75% early in the season. Well, and I mean, he looked good doing it too, right? I think this is a matter.
Is Lev Bell playing?
So as of right now, it's kind of up in the air. I'm not too concerned with Lev Bell though. I gotta say, he hasn't really impressed me.
No, he looks washed.
I'm with you.
And I would be thrilled if Lev Bell and Antonio Brown didn't play. Unfortunately, one of those guys has to get a ring and sting me in my Steelers' heart. But it would be great if they were in street clothes.
So I am betting CH right now, plus 220. Why? Because I think for the next 2 weeks, next week and a half.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, lay it on me.
I have a question for you. Is the value better? So if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is scoring, obviously the Chiefs have a better chance to win the game. Do you usually parlay these? Do you do the anytime score plus money line to juice up the odds a little bit?
I do not. I don't, Frank. You know me. I'm the no fun, no parlay kind of guy. The only time I ever really parlay is doing the cowards parlay. I'll tease some stuff together, and I only tease through the significant numbers too. But no, you know what? Like when you're calling an anytime touchdown, I mean you're already dealing with, the odds are stacked against you, right? Like you don't know the game script. It's hard enough to hit one. I do not, because especially in a game like this where, I mean, we're looking at a total of like 56, 57. It's very reasonable that Clyde Edwards-Helaire scores a touchdown and the Bucs still win this game, right? Sure, if we're talking about a total that's, 43, low 40s, then I might start considering an anytime with a money line parlay. But again, I'm just considering it at that point. So no, I'm not. I'm betting this single bet. Clyde Edwards-Helaire plus 220 to score anytime touchdown because, I think the next 9 days we're going to hear how healthy he is. And I think this line's going to come down. I think before kickoff, it could be like plus 180.
I like that. I do like that a lot. And the reason I did ask that question is because obviously you can't throw correlated bets. You can't throw the Chiefs first half spread with the Chiefs money line. That's called a correlated bet. And that one that we just described, the anytime touchdown score plus the money line, is about as close as you can get to a correlator. Yeah,
there's the correlators that I have kind of started diving into a little bit, more so the parlaying player props. So take like Tyreek Hill over, and some books are already starting to not let you do this. So if you're someone who likes this, take advantage while you can. Something like Tyreek Hill over 5.5 receptions plus over 63.5 yards.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised that's even offered at all.
There are some books that still allow it. I don't think you'll I don't know that we'll get through 2020 being able to play that too much longer. So those are the ones that I will dive into, because, again, those are very correlated. If he catches more than 5 balls, good chance he's going over his yardage as well, right? So there are some books out there you can find that at. What do you think about CEH though, Frank? Is he scoring a touchdown for me?
I had him on my fantasy team all season long. I drafted him in the first round in one of my leagues. When healthy, he can be an absolute problem. I mean, I've had games where he had 20 plus carries, over 100 yards, 2 TDs. He certainly has the capability to not score one touchdown, but multiple, and and blow up, have a huge game. So it depends on his health, like you said. I'm not going to make any bets just yet. If I have to lose a little bit of value on that one, I guess I'll lose those 40 points. But I do like the pick. I've been a fan of his all year.
Absolutely. And the one player I'm waiting on, Frank, Travis Kelce. And why? Because he's looking at minus 165 odds right now, and those are just a little too short for me. I love him to score a touchdown. I mean, Andy Reid loves him around the goal line. They have so many different ways to throw him that little underhand shovel. And I'm sure we'll see a different way or a different person throw him that shovel in the Super Bowl, So I love him to score, but if you look to his last 4 games, he's been minus 125, minus 145, minus 112, minus 106. So, I get it. I get why he's becoming shorter and shorter because he just continues scoring. But yeah, I think as more money comes in here, we're gonna see more of it come in on, some of these again the fat guys, right? Everyone's gonna be placing money on the
Who do you
long
mean
shot.
by the fat guys? Like you think a left tackle is gonna score?
Absolutely. Isn't that the trend?
You can't even bet those guys. You can't bet them.
You can, Frank. So basically, to be honest with you, if you contact your sports book and tell them I want to put a bet down on Ryan Jensen, you can't. Don't do Ryan Jensen. I'll say that much.
If you're doing that, you have a gambling problem. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying if you actually contact your sports book for one of these left tackles to score, please call in. We'll have you on the show.
And you know what? We'll probably tell you just don't do it. Like if the sportsbook's not offering that player, there's a reason why they're not offering that player. Keep that in mind. But yeah, Frank, it's Super Bowl time. The anytime touchdowns, it's like the entire board. You can bet on defensive players right now too.
That's true. Yeah, I guess the props are crazy for the Super Bowl. Maybe I just don't remember seeing it. And usually for if you wanted to do, I know they have this for first touchdown scorer. There are those options. They're lumped together.
The field, right?
The field or
defense, special teams.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, but no, at this point, I think Kelce, and again, kind of joking about the money coming in on the fat guy touchdown, but not joking that I think a lot of the money in the anytime touchdowns will come in on the guys plus odds right now. The guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire that I mentioned, the Leonard Fournettes, the Mike Evans, these guys that are seeing plus money right now on their anytime touchdown. I don't think you're going to see a ton of money on Kelce. I think we can see it come down a little bit. I think he might come down a touch. Ultimately, I don't think he's going to get much shorter than this. If he does, he's starting to reach that kind of elite running back status, and he's not, right. It's the Derrick Henrys, the Dalvin Cooks, that are like minus 300. He's not there yet, and for the reason that he's not a running back. He's not,
he's not there, but you know where he is. He's after this season and this postseason. Kelce has to be mentioned as one of the greatest tight ends of all time. I'm talking up there with Gates, Gronk, Gonzalez. He's if he's not in that class, he's knocking on the door.
I'm with you. He's been fantastic, and you just look at the him and Mahomes being on the same page. Like they're just always thinking the same thing. The amount of times they just improvise in the middle of a play and both see the exact same thing. He's so smart, so athletic. I think the one knock that people will bring up on Kelce, just for the record, he's had some big drops in big games. He hasn't done it this year. Didn't really do it. It did it a bit last year, actually. We talked not too long ago when the Chiefs had that horrible start against the Texans in the playoffs divisional round last year. Kelce dropped a few balls early, right? He played a big role in that slow start. And before Mahomes got here, you might remember this, when the Steelers beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, and it was Alex Smith still. Kelce had a really bad drop right at the goal line. So I think if there's anything negative to be said about Kelce, that'll be the one thing people bring up. But I'm with you. He's so dynamic, incredible player. He's got to be one of the best.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Cool, Frank. So, yeah, those are my two guys. I'm betting Clyde Edwards-Helaire now. I'm waiting on Travis Kelce. And as I said, Frank and I will be back next week. We'll do a bit of a, deep dive into this Super Bowl, talk the matchup, talk some more props. Again, some more serious props. You won't hear us, go on with many more Anthem and Gatorade trends. But if you do want those, sportsbettingdime.com has you covered. And again, if you're line shopping, if you're looking for betting trends, team stats, whatever you need to make an informed wager on Super Bowl 55, sportsbettingdime.com has it for you. Frank, any parting notes?
Yes, the only parting note is, again, gigantic contest on SBD Play. Biggest cash prizes ever on there. And if you want some action and you don't want to put up any money, that's where you should go.
Isn't that what everybody wants?
That sounds pretty nice.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked it, give us a like, subscribe. Again, check out sportsbettingdime.com. You can follow me on Twitter at SBD_Matt. Frank, where they finding you?
Instagram at FrankMichaelSmith_.
Awesome. Well, we'll be back next week, Frank. Can't wait, buddy. We'll talk soon.